Oh, have some of that. Rip ears, mate. Oh, I'm allergic to my own bullshit. Thanks, Petro. You're the best. Where's my face? Here it is. My computer broke yesterday. I spent the whole day trying to fix it. And it turns out that it was just a riser cable that I used for my case. Actually, I'll show you. So you can see there's reasonable devastation. Yeah, but there's my bank card as well. It's an old one. Let's get rid of that. Don't see that. I think I went under my floorboards. Good job. But now that card that used to be flat, facing me with a riser cable, is plugged into the board. And I need to replug in that Optane drive. But yeah, that caused me all sorts of problems, which made me think that I'd damaged my CPU by overclocking it, even though my overclock was very minimal. That I thought the motherboard was broken. I thought it was a million different things, but I've never had a cable actually causing interference on the actual motherboard like that. It was weird. It took me ages to 5 or 6 hours, and my mate DC helped me. It was horrible. But hello and welcome to some Starters and Talky Stuff. I hope you can hear me. I assume you can. I had to set up everything again. But yeah, how's it going? Hello. Yeah, I know the PC is sexy. Evil cable. It needs to be. All the cables need to be neatened up in that, which I will do probably tomorrow. So I'll talk about a few things today before we move into questions, and that's the main thing we do. I can talk questions really, and answer them, and just have a bit of a chat. The major things are the network performance stuff, the Evocati tests, where they had 60 players at playable frame rates, and we'll have a look at some pictures of that. So yeah, some pictures, a picture, the only one we're allowed to show. And we'll also talk about a little bit about the anniversary sale and stream and whatever else they're doing for it, which starts on the 24th of November and goes on until the 4th of December. We assume that it's going to be a similar styled sale and event to last year's Galactic Gear thing, where they every day they did a different manufacturer for a ship, and then all the ships of these guys are on sale, and then for like the last couple of days they do a everything's on sale, sort of thing. So it's going to be big sales, possibly another concept ship as well. So let's have a look at that concept ship. This was the anniversary special sort of like thing in the newsletter with this picture, and we just assume, well, at least I assume, that this ship is going to go on concept, and it looks very much to me like a lighter version of the Hornet. So I'm expecting Anvil, and I'm expecting either a stealthier Anvil ship or a light fighter from Anvil. It's presented by the UEE's Civil Defence Corps, so whatever you think about that. Yeah. Sales and things. And if you want the latest newsletter, let's go through the newsletter very briefly, actually, because some people find it interesting. This week's Around the Verse showed very pretty stuff from the new quantum drive system. So with quantum travel now, you have cool effects, much cooler effects when you come out of quantum travel. When you're going through quantum travel, it's very Hollywood, it's deemed, with lots of the special effects. It's very pretty. You're going to be able to use quantum travel at short distances and long distances. There's a non-linear curve of the acceleration that you go through when you're doing quantum travel now as well. So your shorter distances, you're never going to get to that full speed that you would at a longer quantum travel, where you ramp up to very high quantum travel speeds and speed along before. Again, as you come out of quantum travel, you kind of ramp down the speeds. So you get this like curve that they wanted, and they talked a lot about that curve in Around the Verse. We'll talk a little bit about the schedule report as well in a bit, but let's continue to go through here. Some cool stuff there. There was a game dev where they talked about
tricksy little hobbits.
Thank you very much. Appreciated. Love the sub. Thank you. There was a happy hour. They're going to be doing happy hour game dev every week now. Well, they're going to be doing a happy hour every week. Hopefully that means more happy hour game devs. But they showed off sort of a little bit about locations and outposts, a little bit about actually running around in a modular space station as well. But the cool thing that they showed in that happy hour game devs thing was, let's see if we can actually find it on the thingy.
Almost, yeah.
Let's try and find it for you, so that I don't just have it pre-bookmarked. That would be useful, wouldn't it? Some cool stuff about the inside the stations, modular stations.
Tricksy little
Pretty cool.
hobbitses.
I think this is it. Yeah. So this is it.
This is it.
So they've got a fuse or power box here.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe Jared.
Come on, use the fuse box. Can you use the fuse box? No? Look at it. Do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Do you have to go back in? They pick up this fuse box. This is a component, and they put it into this area. Go on, slide in. Go on. Come on. Do it. And this, like it would in a ship, provides power in the area, and the lights come on, and it generate oxygen or whatever else. Basically, you're going to have power relays around larger ships as well, and they might blow, and you might need to replace components like that in them to keep power circulating through your ship, or certain sections of your ship powered. But that's the first time we'd actually seen a component slotted into something and actually have a functional use done kind of live. And it was cool to actually see that in 3.0 you're going to have this kind of works, if you see what I mean? The functionality of lights, and actually it's all set up for Item System 2.0. I just thought that was pretty cool. I'll link that. Thanks for the cheer. Appreciated Cameron's cringy face. Love you, Cameron. Haven't seen him for a while because he was obviously doing loads of stuff at CitizenCon and Gamescom, all that sort of stuff. But I thought that was pretty cool. So, Evocati tests. This is the picture of the Evocati test stuff that was in the newsletter. And basically they had 60 players playing in instances as a stress test at very playable frame rates. All spawning ships in and flying around and shooting everything and messing around. And this is someone on Reddit trying to count the amount of ships in the picture, which I think is 23 or something. and then loads of other people running around as well. It's really getting there with the because bind culling might also make it into 3.0 now, and bind culling is a great piece of network performance that will really improve frame rates and generally how many people we can have in servers together. And if that comes in, and with the new server hardware and the new other optimizations for 3.0, which is massively overly polished now, but I suppose good because they're treating it like starters is starting to get into the mainstream. It's not an MVP or anything like that. It's not a minimum viable product or anything. I don't think. I think they're much more saving that for a beta. Expect when all the mechanics are in that they've discussed already, and that we have 5 to 10 systems, then that's going to be their beta and their minimal viable product before they start to flesh all the other systems out. I don't think they have an MVP until they have all of those game mechanics in that they said they're going to have, and it's literally just the systems and some more expanded content on types of weapon and ships and stuff like that. But all the game mechanics need to be in, and I'm expecting. I'm hoping that we have that by the end of 2019. I think that's a optimistic but doable achievement and goal. But yeah, this was the other thing. Let's bring this up. Some dude on Reddit was making his own graphs because they've ceased to do them in the schedule report, which is annoying. So anyone that wants to visually see the amount of bugs. So bind culling. So someone's just asked, can you define bind culling? Bind culling is basically the cutting of data that's not relevant to you on the network. So in a similar way to object container streaming, I suppose, but stuff that's not relevant to you, that's a certain distance away, that data won't be sent to you. Stuff that is closer, some of the data will be sent to you, just changes in direction or any relevant data. So bind culling basically removes data that you don't need to receive, and because of that you get a much more optimized network system. But it's a bit more than that, but that's the basics. Got to cull those binds. It's all with the networking stuff. They are basically removing any data you don't need to see, you don't need to get. The distances at what you do get data, they're tweaking. The prediction, they're tweaking. And the idea is to just have really efficient networking. You don't need to send an update of all the parts of a ship to everyone. You probably don't need to send an update to all the parts of the ship to the person that's in the ship even. You just need to update it to certain things, or changes in that data just needs to get updated. So, but I liked those graphs. I thought those graphs were pretty cool because the schedule report keeps on changing. At the moment, see at the bottom, it says beyond 3.0. The graphs, the actual big graph's gone, which I used to use a lot, but I put the last one saved, so I can look at that later. But the beyond 3.0 view is getting redone and talked about and expanded out as soon as 3.0 goes live. And then CIG are moving to a quarterly release cycle, so every 3 months we're going to be getting patch whatever. And we can't really see them as major patches or minor patches or whatever. They are just whatever they can put in the patch. And anything that doesn't make it will get pushed into the next patch. Now, that's going to be true in almost every situation from now on, because 3.0 is here, and 3.0 was that foundation. They wanted to do this originally. They wanted to do this a couple of years ago, or at least a year ago. Start doing it monthly or bi-monthly, release what they've got. But then 3.0 came around pretty quickly after. They went, right, we can't keep on doing this. We have to put the foundations down. Item system 2.0 needs to go in. Object container streaming needs to get it set up, and those building blocks are now there, which is good. It also means they can now build on the networking and then start to work on probably the network meshing, which is effectively having everyone in the same server. But we'll see the updated 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 sort of. It's not actually going to be that, but we'll see all of the game mechanics that they've got planned out, hopefully till beta. So I'm hoping for 2 years effectively of game mechanics, or at least a year's worth, to be semi-planned on there. And I suppose we need to move away from the naming definitions of patches, because they're going to be releasing them quarterly. So they'll say it's likely that mining, buying of ships, and reputation and nav beacons and that sort of stuff are going to be in the next quarterly patch, which will be 3.1. But it's all getting a bit fuzzy around the edges and moved around and stuff. So we'll talk about it as we know more. So people get less confused, hopefully more confused. I'm sorry. Squadron 42 episode is one as well. So for the December live stream, so just before Christmas, big CIG live stream again. They show off lots of cool little stuff. It's kind of like a little party, so it's not going to be as cool stuff as you saw at CitizenCon or Gamescom, or even as the anniversary sale probably. But they are going to be doing something very special this year, which is we assume the vertical slice from Squadron 42. At the very least, it's going to be a focused Squadron 42 kind of event where that's going to be the main thing. And they will be updating the schedule report to reflect Squadron 42 episode 1 as well. So we will see details of what they've got left to do, and possibly some form of rough release date, maybe. If they start marketing, then we'll know. Thank you very much, John Luke. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated for the sub, John Luke. You're a star. Other than that, lots of cool little updates. What are they working on? Was there anything else I was really impressed with? Oh, the second stage afterburner stuff. So they've got Super Cruise back in the game. We've talked about that before. SCM speeds have been scaled up massively, or not massively, but to a big extent. So ships are faster. Ships have got a much larger range of speed. Some slow ships are very slow. Some fast ships are very fast. It's going to make fighting interesting. Kind of get your hands onto it before you go, oh my god, not again, or anything like that. You need to test it out. There's a lot of changes that have gone into balancing of ships, or will go into the balancing of ships, should I say. But Item System 2.0 has changed everything, and those ship stats that we saw released with the Gladius, which has effectively got size 3 hard points now, and stuff like that. Some ships sound super amazing on paper, but they fly differently, and they do different things, and their intentions are different, and you need to kind of get your hands on it before you can judge. Oh no, not Xi'an! Someone's saying something in Xi'an that I don't understand. Is it Shulen Te Sekian Juan? I love you too, my bald head. Thank you very much for the donation, though. News on Vulkan. Don't know much about Vulkan at the moment. It's going to be integrated. It doesn't look like it's going to prevent the integration of DirectX 12. I thought and they even said a while ago that they were just going to focus on Vulkan, but more recently they said, oh, we can do DirectX 12 as well. So, that's cool. I would have preferred them to focus on Vulkan, to be honest. Probably would have angered a lot of people. I think they want Star Citizen to be as appealing as possible to the larger numbers. One of these other cool things, actually, is it looks like Intel are going to be creating their own GPUs for consumers, which will be interesting, even if it just kind of... Because Intel have got a huge amount of capital. So even if it just increases competition in the GPU market to make AMD and Intel and Nvidia create more graphics cards quicker or whatever. Trader 6, thank you very much. Much appreciated for the sub. Oh, I fucking love subs! Oh, I'll talk about the donation garden, actually. I'll sell out in a second. But yeah, I love the fact that Intel might be making GPUs in the future. That's cool. More competition, the better. BritainCon, I'm going to be at BritainCon next year, 21st of April, 2018. We don't really have a real time for the streams, to be honest, the Drunken Nobody. I just kind of go until I'm tired or hungry. Just kind of chat. And we'll do some questions about it. But BritainCon's cool. It should be the biggest it will be the biggest BritainCon we've done. I'll be there. Loads of other streamers, fans, devs, that sort of stuff will be there. And it promises to be a good one. Aaron Roberts is going to be there. Brian Chambers is going to be there. And fuck tons of other devs. And we do cool panels, and we lots of stuff. And there's a bar there, and I'm drunk. So it'll be cool. So please come to that if you can. Grab tickets, because they do sell out normally. Well, they probably will sell out this time. I don't know. I know what the fuck I'm saying. Thank you very much. What else? What else we got? Cool graphs. New random anvil ship. I'm assuming it's an anvil ship. I'm assuming it's an anvil ship. Looks like a hornet. I played Elite Dangerous before, yeah. What else we got? Anything else before we start answering questions? I've got anything in my notes? No, I haven't. I haven't got it. We talked about everything the other day. Talked about it in the news as well. So, if anyone's got any questions, question in brackets. and just chuck it in. It can be about 3.0, it can be about Evocaditas, it can be about me. Obviously, Evocadi stuff I can't always answer. I can answer in sweeping generalizations. Draken Arrowway. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, what's the first rule of Bald Guy Club? Go and hug another bald guy. Give him a no, not a reach round. What am I talking about? There's some in jokes that I no. Me and Zin and Kit and some of the other guys I play games with regularly, that when they start playing Star Citizen, which might be from 3.0 onwards, you'll get to see some of my more interpersonal friendships and weird shit that happens when we play games. But Bored, is it planned that 3.0 will have one giant server? No. 3.0 will still be on multiple servers, with 24 to 60 players, it seems, at the moment. So we'll have to see exactly how many players they can get into 3.0 when it goes live. I would suspect that the amount of players in a server won't be defined until 3.0 goes live. They will do the PTU tests, and they will try and get as many players as they can in. But in the future, then, that they haven't started working, or maybe they hadn't started working a month ago on server meshing, so maybe they have now. But server meshing is the way that we will all be on one server. At least that's the plan. If the Octane is 10 times Samsung, does that mean 100 years of use or only 10 times speed? I think the Octane drives have got like roughly a 10-year lifespan or something. Someone said to me, at constant use, they're pretty. They've got amazing lifespans. I don't think they're 100 years of use kind of thing, though. And they are, from real terms, they're about twice as fast as the Samsung Pros on load times for games that I play, like GTA 5, like NS2, like Star Citizen. So you get half the load times. TRNQT, thank you very much for the sub. Is that how you pronounce your name? I learned how to say Sir Ridney's name when I was in his stream the other day as well. So if he turns up, I will. Sir Redney. I fucking know your name now. Bam. Has there been any coverage of the updates to the radar system in the production schedule for 3.0? No, I don't think so. They are integrating the radar with the star map at the moment, and they are doing stuff to the radar, but I'm not sure how much they actually covered in the schedule report. Let me just check. Radar. Create a mock layout of the star map, radar within the cockpit. Yeah, they're just doing integration with the star map. Oh my god, someone's fucking giving me money. Seen weird pictures appear. I am gonna buy so. Thank you very much, John Luke.
Love you, Bored.
I love your money, John Luke. No, I love you. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'll talk very quickly about the donation. So I have issues working out what. There's lots of stuff I kind of want, but nothing I really need. Like, I want to get some recording equipment, so like cameras to take to events, and a camera to set up in my kitchen so I can talk about Star Citizen while cooking and make like things like Big Benny's noodles and that sort of stuff. Do proper recipes that anyone can copy. When we do food, it'll be gaming food, as much Star Citizen food as possible. I used to be a chef. I'm still pretty good with food, and I'm good at recipes and I'll do recipes and stuff. But what's the other thing I wanted? Oh, I'm gonna do donation goals for all of the ships eventually for my channel. So ships that I don't have and don't have access to, I raise money so that I have them, so I can make content on them. That seems sensible to me. And I want a new laptop. For this kind of the same reason I want recording equipment. I want to be able to go to events, and I want to be able to do news and stuff while I'm at events. I want to be able to play games, and I want those games to be sexy. I've got a reasonably good gaming laptop, but I think I'm going to flog it and just get a top-end one that will do me for 5 years, or 4 years. 3 years, probably. Yeah. What else we got? Can I go cook fish and chips now? Yes! Where do you think we are in terms of finishing the skeleton foundation of the game? 3.0. When is 3.0 going to go to PTU or live? Is basically what you're asking there. And I think by Christmas we'll get the wider PTU. No, so 3.0 is that skeleton. 3.0 is that foundation. It's item system 2.0 coming fully in. It's It's object container streaming being there. They're not utilising the performance gains of it at all. It's just the setup for it. It's things like that. So all of the bare bones are now there. Obviously, a lot of the mechanics aren't. Like most of the mechanics aren't for individual game mechanics. But the play area is now there and stuff like that. Aside from mining, what features will be slated for 3.1? We don't really know anymore, and that's one of the things that we will find out as soon as 3.0 goes live. So the 3.1 release, let's assume that that's the first quarter release. So end of March. So end of March 2018. Let's assume that's that when 3.1's released, and that will be mining probably. Some object container streaming stuff, possibly some a planet or some extra moons, some more playable area of the stand-in system, because they need to get that stand-in system fleshed out as quick as they can. What else might we have? Nav beacons, so that would be the ability to drop a nav beacon and then use it as a coordinate that you can quantum travel to. Quantum disruption might be in, because quantum disruption is sort of roughly going to probably be in for 3.0, where the NPCs can interrupt your quantum travel. That's what they intend to put in. Better hacking, better reputation system, more missions, more outposts. And when I say more, I mean expanded. So there's going to be more modules, more randomness, more additions to them, different looking ones, not just more everywhere. What else will we see for 3.1? Various network optimizations, graphics, GPU optimizations, stuff generally looking prettier. I'm almost certain that we'll see the female model, and we're going to see a lot of iteration on 3.0. So we'll see more expanded cargo, we'll see expanded mission system, we'll see lots more balance done to the flight mechanics again, and they keep on doing that. We'll see lots of iterations of Mobiglass, more Mobiglass apps. Fucking Seredni, Jesus Christ.
I expect to see you doing these SC streams for another 10 to 20 years. Look us in the eye and promise us, smiley face.
I promise that, barring an act of God or something crazy happening, like obviously I do have responsibilities by my brother, that actually might be ending at the end of this month. I say ending. There is better carers that he now has access to, so doesn't need me in the same way at all, which would be great, which means I'll have a lot more free time. I am planning to at least do Star Citizen stuff for at least, so I've got plans for 5 years currently, and obviously as I know more about Star Citizen, exactly what's going on and what will happen in my life in over 5 years, that will expand out. I'm hoping to cover it for the entirety of the length of the game. That would be my dream, that I can do that. I can be a big Star Citizen sort of like celebrity in that regard, cover the news, help push for game mechanics that I think are good, discuss with other people in the community what we all want together, because my ideas aren't necessarily going to be the same as your ideas. I think I'm relatively reasonable when I talk to people about things, because I always know that my mind can be swayed. Someone might have a better idea than me. I might not have thought everything through. Actually, I like other people's ideas more than mine normally, because I don't feel responsible for them. But yeah, I'd love to cover the game for this entire length, and that's the hope. I might even, this is the other thing, I was considering moving up to Manchester, so that I could be closer to the office there, and because house prices are really cheap, and I don't leave my house much. Like, if I've got the freedom now to be able to go off and do stuff, I'll move to Manchester.
Tricksy little hobbits.
Half the price, like houses. Thank you very much for 23. I'll move up to Manchester, be close to the studios, go to all the studio tours I can, go to Wimslow and stuff as often as I can. That's not proddy, so that I can like join in Bar Citizens, do Bar Citizens up there with the devs, things like that. I think that'd be fucking cool. But yeah, thank you very much, Seredni. That's a fuck ton of money. Seredni, did I say it right? I was trying to stream the other day to learn how to say his name. Thank you. I'm the worst. I'm so bad. Thank you so much. Oh my fucking god. Oh, I never understand why people give so much money to streamers and YouTubers and stuff, but I do really fucking appreciate it. I appreciate the kindness of others when going, I want to buy something. We'll help you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. What else we got? What else got questions we got? Seredni. The Seredni. Okay. What is required to join the contest about the Pioneer? So, comments in the chat here won't count, because I don't take chat comments because they don't go into my spreadsheet. What happens is that if you comment, if you're a subscriber, I check to see if you're a subscriber last, actually, now. When you make a comment on a video, your name basically will be added effectively to a spreadsheet. I actually export it at the end of the month. And it doesn't matter how many comments you've made, your name, your exact name, will only get put in there once. And then I do a random number generator, and that selects a number, and that will be that comment, well, that name is the winner. And you just basically have to be a sub and make a comment on any video during that month to be in for a chance of winning whatever ship the giveaway is for. So in November, that's a Pioneer donated by Matadors, who are a for-profit pirate outlaw org. So I refer to them as not as dickhead pirates, although I'm sure some of their org are dickheads. I find them very nice and get on very well with them. Ventador's been a fucking legend, and they're all pretty good chaps. But their banter's pretty high, so you will be insulted in the friendliest possible way, which I quite enjoy. I quite enjoy banter. But yeah, if you're looking for a kind of mature Outlaw for now and for 3.0 and beyond, check them out. They're good chaps. Links below for them. I saw a leaked video today where the freelancer was flying around Olisar. There I could see a whole lot of players flying around with a decent frame rate. Do you think orgs will be more active? Orgs are going to be a lot more active in 3.0. The hope is to get more players in the servers for the 3.0 release. So even if we have 36, even if we have 48, that's a fuckload more people, and yet orgs can be more active. And 3.0 is going to be... I mean, it's not going to have the hugest amount of tangible gameplay, but it's going to have more tangible gameplay than we've ever had before. What I mean by that is we have to mess around for hundreds of hours in there without being too bored. That's the idea. That's the dream, isn't it? Do you think the Caterpillar will be on sale? Yes, almost certainly. Expect almost all of the ships that have ever been sold to be on sale from November 24th to December 4th. That it's the time of the year where CIG can make a fuck ton of money. I'm also expecting to see Javelins and Idris on sale, very limited number, and that sort of stuff. If there were any Pioneers that didn't sell as well, they chuck them back in there, that sort of stuff. KWO311, I fucking love your face as well. I just saw your name there. He's been a big supporter of the stream. There's loads of big supporters actually here today. Thank you. I'm sorry that I keep on messing around with my times when I actually stream as well. I'm literally trying to work out when is the best time to stream. So in the interim for that, I will stream any time I've got time. Is BoredGamer going to be to Star Citizen what Ben Lesnick was to Wing Commander? I don't know, maybe. I'm not really running a fan community site or anything. I do the stuff on Redacted. Maybe I should do my own little wiki or something on Redacted site or something. I like the community I've got. I like the YouTubes. I like the Twitches now. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy making content. There's a lot of skills that I don't have when it comes to neatness and organisation, that from like wiki point of view and stuff like that I'd like to get other people on board to help me with. There's some really talented content creators out there that seem to do very pretty things, but don't really promote their work. So I'd love to get involved with... I can't think of any of their names. I won't name drop anyway. Is base building coming in 3.0? No. No, Pioneer won't be in 3.0 either. It's a little while out. I mean, they blocked out a lot of the Pioneer, but I mean, it needs a fuck ton of work. It needs loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of work. Potentially, you could have base building maybe in halfway through 2018. So potentially, I think it's unlikely because they need to do lots of stuff for base building. They need to do the land claim stuff. They need to do materials and areas and what the surveying stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to come with that. How do you see UEC compared to IRL? Compared to IRL money in terms of ships. For example, the Pioneer, a price currently at hundreds of dollars. Do you think we would need to farm for months or even years of farming and trading to actually afford that with the UEC? So it depends what you do. If you're buying with a group or an org, the idea is that, and that's the idea with these larger ships, is you should buy them with other players. if you were doing it solo, I mean, some of the capital ships are going to be so vast that you would have to probably grind for months at least with a single purpose goal, and you'd have to do high risk things as well. But I mean, you could steal one, you could find one derelict, and there's lots of things that could happen. So yeah, the intention is to have those very, very big, expensive ships to be very expensive, especially capital ships. Statement: Bored CIG should hire you and make their official newscast of a Star Citizen. I can do that without them hiring me. Do you know what I mean? Sort of. That's kind of what I do. I need the autonomy. I'd love to be offered a fuck ton of money from CIG to do stuff, but I am really erratic as a person. I like what I do because I can be done on my own pace. I could take a few days off and not do a video. If I had a proper job, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I'd get fired or whatever. So because I'm bipolar and because I'm a bit erratic and get severely depressed sometimes, I like what I do and I like the way I do it. But I do think that CIG needs someone that is very on the pulse with marketing on the online aspect of things, understands how YouTube works, understands the Twitch and streams work, at that kind of level of content creator, streamer, marketing guy that can vet lots of the stuff as well. They need to look at everything they do, like Starkit and stuff, the referral rewards, everything like that, and go, is the community going to be pissed off by this? Should we do it, yes or no? And that there's a guy there that vets that and goes, yeah, well, I'm a massive part of the community, I understand this, whatever. I do think they need someone there. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. I love the fact that there's a lot of love for Nubify as well, because me and Nubify have worked together to improve ourselves. Together, we chat a lot. Although recently I've been a bit busy, so I only talk to. Normally, I used to talk to him every day, but I've only talked to him like twice this week. Anniversary sale, nanam. Yeah, I know, right? Money is going to be flying out of my pocket as well. It depends on what ships they've got, though. What is the kind of new concept ship going to be? If it's just a light Hornet fightery thing, nah, not really interested. You mentioned you want more Star Citizen content creators. Yes. What kind of content you feel needs more attention for someone considering doing it? Eventually it will be lots of stuff on how-to guides for everything, because there's going to be quite a lot of in-depth mechanics that's all going to be purely skill-based from a player's point of view. But stuff to do with weapons, meta, ships, plans of ships and maps. There's going to be a lot of stuff where you can show stuff with maps. There's loads of content that can be done for Star Citizen. I think that I would reserve the right to currently wait until 3.0 comes out to say what I would list as content that I would suggest other people to do. The thing with content creators is that they all need to find their own niche about what they're good at, what they enjoy. Like, I really enjoy just talking about Star Citizen because I've got a good knowledge of it. I keep up to date with it every week. I've got the time to do that, and I make those news shows. I compress. I'm very much a regurgitator and compressor, and I quite enjoy doing that. I'm going to enjoy doing like those quick guides of how do you get this, where do you get this from, what's the best thing to do for fighting these or these types of missions, what's the best loadout for grinding UEC when doing this kind of mission and stuff like that. And there's going to be lots of gameplay opportunities when 3.0 comes out as well. So just some interesting people playing. Flying in wings together, doing challenges in Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm, which could be done now, I suppose. What's the best solution you've heard of to solve the insurance fraud problem? I don't really know. You could have that occasionally. You could do like they do in Counter-Strike. So Counter-Strike have an Overwatch system where basically they get players involved to kind of see, is this person cheating? You could do something similar for insurance fraud. You could have players or people in game which can investigate lightly, see if something was fraud. There's a lot of ways you could do it. It's if someone takes a ship off someone for the insurance. I mean, so you get your ship taken away by a mate, and you claim on the insurance. So he has your ship, and you have another one of your ships. Now, you might be waiting a month for your pioneer to get back. Say you've claimed on your pioneer. They've got your pioneer, but they're a criminal for having it, or can't fly it anywhere near anywhere that has any form of security, because otherwise they'll be deemed a criminal. So the only thing they can do with that is use it in Outlaw space, which wouldn't be bad for a pioneer, to be honest. Or have it ground up, nommed by like a reclaimer. Use it for scrap, strip it down. So they're not going to be like that well off from doing it in all situations. You made someone a criminal. It's how they handle that system then. Like, if you have a secondary character, effectively, so on my account, say I have 2 characters, and I literally steal the ship with the other one. Now, that would obviously be insurance fraud, but how is that different from someone else having another account entirely that I also own? I could grab that ship, put it on that one, and go, haha! I also have this ship on this Outlaw character. So there does need to be some balance there. There does need to make sure that they can't exploit that. I don't know how yet. I need to really fucking think about it. I need to see edge cases. I need to test whatever they come up with in the first iteration. There's too many things. If I sit down for a day and try and work it out... Actually, we probably will do that. I'll have a think about it once they come up with the first true iteration of insurance claims. And I'm not talking about what they've got for 3.9, because, yeah, that's insurance claims, but that's not anything to deal with insurance fraud. That's not anything other than you can claim your insurance at any time. Well, maybe we will talk about it. Oh, thank you very much. Fucking... see someone fucking donate. KW0311USMC. Fucking look at him supporting. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love. So many people give so much. Seredny, KW0311, fucking really long name. Aventador, fucking loads of other people recently have all been like donated so fucking much, and it is really appreciated. Who else? Let me have a quick look there. Irish Star, Relapse. Stupid amounts of money. So thank you very much. The Red Huntress, White Earp, Stormfire. Oh my god, Stormfire. Stormfire was our last featured org, and with the Stellar Enterprise, who donated an Aquila for last month. That was fucking amazing. Thank you. I'm pretty blessed to have the community ID. 616, the number of the beast. That's how many viewers I have. If I crash on a planet's surface, does my ship wreckage become a real derelict, or can I salvage it with my reclaimer, or does it despawn? Good question. 3.0, it will just... who fucking knows? In 3.0, it probably won't become a derelict at all. So it'll just explode on the ground, stay there for a while, and despawn. Other ships will have a certain amount of time before they despawn. So they will have a certain amount of time on their persistence. And the smaller, less important items will despawn quicker. So you crash on a planet, bam. So this is after 3.0. It's a little bit after that. Crash into a planet, boom, ship explodes, you've survived, whatever, through whatever ejection method they've deemed fit to survive in atmosphere, because we don't know about what that's going to be. That could be jet boots, or jet packs, or a boosty chair, or parachutes, or lots of different things. Or the portal boots. But your ship will crash, boom, it's a derelict, and there's fire, and there's lots of rubble around. Now, things that would despawn first would likely to be fire, the little bits of rubble around, and then more and more of it will despawn, and then eventually it will just be the hull left, which should be salvageable, potentially, and components will be able to be taken off if they're still in good condition. I'm expecting that we will see an on-ground salvage vehicle as well, although it did look like that the Reclaimer can nom up stuff that's on the ground still as long as it lands. Maybe it will be able to just hover and nom stuff up. I'm not entirely sure. We did see I think it was a Vandal Driller, that was and a Reclaimer landed on a planet that was kind of a nod to a Prometheus, an alien. Do you think the Connie Phoenix will come on sale? Yes. Oh, it's very limited. Possibly. Yeah, probably actually, because they'll probably show off like its some of its concept. So expect to see a lot on ships that have been partly reworked, partly reconcepted, stuff on updates of ships, lots of stuff like that for that November live stream. November event, shall we say, because I'm not just entirely sure of the full schedule of what's happening, but every day it sounds like they're going to be doing a different manufacturer. So expect to see some of these new reworks and new updates to ships. I say reworks, it's updates, it's material updates, it's light modelling rework for most of them, stuff like that. Nothing major, nothing massive anyway. So sitting ships, there will be chop shops, yes, definitely. I mean, I think that was one of the modules they wanted for the Caterpillar, was like a chop shop. But I think there will probably be ways of making ships look like other ships, like their IDs, spoofing, probably getting IDs of ships as well, and allowing them to effectively be flown in lawful space again after they've been stolen. But it might be quite expensive, so... They don't need shady dealers as well. I mean, in more outlawy space, there's going to be a lot more to do in terms of that sort of stuff, for freedom to do stuff outside of the law. Like you'll be able to put outposts down where the fuck you want. You'll be able to fly ships that are illegal ships that you've stolen. But higher risk reward. There are other players there that might PvP you. There are going to be probably more pirates in those areas that will just fight you on sight, stuff like that. And you're not going to have protection for your outposts. Well, you might if you pay for protection, but it's not going to be UE enforced. Derelict ships will despawn over time. Yeah, could be 24 hours, could be a month. On the ship stats page, what are fuel tanks for? So they're for holding quantum fuel, I think. Oh, so fuel tanks in that sense are for holding boost fuel. And if it just says fuel tanks rather than quantum fuel tank, it's for boost fuel. So that's just your upper limit. You will naturally take on board through your inlets, what the fuck they're called. Take on not quantum fuel, boost fuel. That's the plan anyway. Are the missions organised by professions in Moby-Glass? So you want to only do mining jobs. I think you'll be able to filter for them. You can technically, I believe, take any mission, even if you don't have the required ship. It will just go, after a certain amount of time, you'll fail it. Most missions will have a timer on them, I think. And that's what we kind of talked about in the last ATV. Even if that time is pretty long. So yeah, you could take a mission to take a load of cargo somewhere, even if you're just in a Hornet. But it'd be like, realistically, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I believe you can filter for jobs as well, and maybe set notifications in the future. So that kind of functionality and ergonomics of, wouldn't it be cool if I could get notified when a job comes live or whatever? They might add that if enough people want it, or they go, oh, actually that's a really good idea. And it is kind of a good idea. Get notified for certain jobs that come on the market based on your parameters that you've set. So notify me if these parameters, mining job for over this amount of money in this area. Boom. How do you think they will implement hacking so it's both immersive and skill-based? That's a really fucking good question. E-war and hacking is going to be big mechanics in the game. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. I'm interested on how they're going to do it. Blowing doors off is the only breaching that we get for 3.0. In the future, that will be possible door codes, possible hacking, possibly welding sections of ships off. But I don't actually know how they're going to do it at all. There's lots of ways they could. On the could we do black box and death cam view to determine insurance fraud? Potentially, yeah. Then it's holding a lot of data. But I suppose if they, potentially they've got secondary viewports. They've got black boxes. I think that you're going to get a load of insurance fraud in the first, when the game goes live in the first month, because people will be seeing if they can break it. They're seeing what they can get away with, and then you'll get a lot less. But yeah, potentially you could have death cams, potentially you could have black boxes. They could just do it with logs, I suppose, couldn't they? Like, did you go here and did you meet him? Were any shots fired? Did the ship take any damage? Did the guy just kill himself or leave or whatever? How often does he do it? It'd have to be beyond all doubt as well. So it can't be like, oh, he's probably committing insurance fraud, but we don't know. So you can't convict someone for doing insurance fraud and lose their ship or whatever they do, or pay a huge fine or whatever. You'd have to go... And then, is it just an exploit? Is it a bannable offence? Like, if you're doing insurance fraud, is that a bannable from game offence, or is that you just lose the ship? What sanctions are they going to impose? That's another interesting one as well. Do you see it as a game mechanic if you're committing insurance fraud? Lots of stuff like that, isn't there? Redcrafter, fucking thank you very much for the donation, very much appreciated. From Super Chatteroo. Cheers, man, you've kept me interested in the game despite not having a PC. Thanks, and done you. Good job. John Lepage as well, one of the guys that helped start Brothers and Con, he'd never played Star Citizen, or didn't have a PC to play it, I think. That was funny at the time. How will stealing ships work? We'll have to use stolen ships forever. So in 3.0, I'll give you one down there first. There's legal and actual physical ownership. So you'll be able to steal someone's ship and you'll be able to store it. And that will be your ship until you lose it or it gets taken away from you. So if you try and fly a stolen ship to like Port Olisar will identify it as a stolen ship. You'll either become a criminal, you'll be shot at, or when you land it, the ATC will take it away from you, the air traffic control system. But you'll be able to land it at lawless places. And also, there's persistence in 3.0, so when you log off your ship, you'll log back on, and you'll be able to get back into your ship that's there. You log back on where you logged off. So yeah, you can steal ships and keep them. And in the future, that's how the system's going to work. Now, you'll be able to steal ships, and you'll be able to keep those ships, and that other person will be able to claim them back on insurance, but that won't despawn the ship that you're on, which is cool. But the actual usability of that in lawful space, and even in some other zones, might get you a bad reputation, and it might not be as simple to do as you think. In a lot of cases, it might be better to nom up the ship, so strip it down of components and literally trash it. What ships do I feel need an update pass? They all need an update pass. They all need an update pass.
Love you, bored.
This year and next year sort of thing. Oh, thank you very much, Sir Starfly. Thank you very much. Thank you for... I'm the worst at reading names. I can't do it. My brain doesn't handle it. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. The sub, whatever you were. I can't do it. I'm dyslexic.
I'm going to buy so many spaceships.
Oh, thank you very much, Perfect 23. Thank you. I will try and keep up whatever work that I'm doing, whether this is good or not. Look at my face on my head. My t-shirts. They scare my mother, which is one of the best things about them. Mum's just, well, why have you got your own head on your chest? It's like, Mum, this is my merch. You should buy some to support me. Everyone at Christmas dinner wearing my face on them. It'll be amazing. But in the short term, okay, ships should get materials updates and updated for the later systems. They don't need quite often, and literally tiny little updates I'm talking about. Stuff that's very short, very small, very sweet. I'm not talking about modern reworks, I'm not talking about anything like that. Occasional tweaks with lighting, occasional, we can make it a little bit more efficient and stuff like that. That's fine. It's when they do like full modelling rework. No, it's very unlikely that ships other than the Redeemer will get as much of an overhaul as the Cutlass Black did, for example, the Cutlass lineup. So just bear that in mind. But I do think that they'll occasionally all get kind of little update passes and things. Can you answer a very important question for me I cannot seem to find a straight answer to? Why is it that people say that all these $200 ships will be free soon to only purchase if you want to donate? Because that's true relevance. So, Star Citizen, you can... If you've got fucking money to burn and you want to buy big ships, you can. And you get that ship, access to it immediately in-game when the game goes live. And, well, I suppose in the short term, as soon as that ship is flyable as well. So you can buy this Hornet for like $180 or whatever. Or you can buy a Pioneer for $750. Though the Pioneer is very much not ready for being flyable. In 3.1, so we're waiting on 3.0 to come up live. 3.0 is going to have the ability to buy weapons and systems, so shields, power plants, that sort of jazz, and lots of different ones in-game, and then customise your ships, but also customise your dude as well, with guns and armour and all that sort of jazz. In 3.1, so assume end of March, possibly, or end of April 2018, 3.1 comes out, that's going to have viable ships. So you're going to be able to buy in-game, with alpha UEC that you learn from doing missions and killing shiz and stealing stuff, or whatever, however you make your money in 3.1. You're going to be able to use that Alpha UEC to buy ships in-game. Now, those ships will be deleted, and your Alpha C will be deleted every quarter, assume, as well, with a new patch that comes out, because that Alpha UEC is there just for testing, is the idea. When the game goes live, you're going to be able to buy all of those ships in-game, with UEC. There are 2 ships, however, that you cannot buy through traditional means, and that is the Mustang Omega, the AMD Mustang Omega, and the Sabre Raven, which are exclusives. You may be able to buy them off players in game, but I don't think you're going to be able to buy them with Alpha UEC. You're not even going to be able to buy them with real money, unless you buy them again externally from CIG, which will be on eBay or the grey market or whatever. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, ships are going to be entirely obtainable in game. Some of the expensive ones, though, capital ships, that's a group effort. That's not a solo man project. That's going to be a group of 100 people working together for a couple of months to get. So like Javelin or something. So please bear that in mind. I think it's obtainable, but some things are hard to obtain. But do you think we'll be able to enter Star Marine or Marine Commander from the verse without changing server? Or even watch matches on our Moby Glass? Okay. I was trying to work out whether there is an intention to have a loading screen between Star Marine and Arena Commander, but I suppose there's not. I think that... Thank you very much. Oh my fucking god, your name. Tizix Kizballs. Thank you very much for the cheer. I think the intention is to have Arena Commander and Star Marine existing in the persistent universe as arcade machines and little helmets you can put on, and that sort of jazz, that doesn't have a loading screen either, or has incredibly minimal loading time, mega map loading times. So yeah, and also there is the potential to be able to watch that sort of stuff on TVs in game, on screens in game, and on your Moby Glass with the rendered texture and secondary viewport tech, which would be pretty cool if they do that. I'm not sure how much the data throughput of that stuff's going to be, so I'm not sure how viable a lot of that is. But I think if anyone's going to do it and do it well, it'll be Star Citizen. Will my reputation be affected if I accept a mission but don't finish it? Probably. And we don't 100% know how the reputation system's going to work. I think it might be mission by mission. There'll be some missions which do affect your reputation a lot, with specific people, with specific factions, with that particular mission chain, with that type of mission. So, yeah, almost certainly in some way it will affect your reputation if you don't finish it, and whether it's a huge hit to it or something. And there might also be ways of doing those missions wrong, like take this cargo to here, you blow up your ship and steal the cargo. That probably you've got a bad reputation hit or whatever. I believe, yeah, so the Mustang rework, that's going to be a medium level rework. It's kind of, we saw it's a light rework, really, I suppose. They're redoing some of the modelling work on it, they're updating the materials. There's a single point of entry now for all models, and they kind of tidied up the concept. I mean, maybe it's a bit more heavy than I expect. Maybe it's not just a light rework, maybe it's a bit more towards the Cutlass Blacks rework, but I think it's going to be just a small rework. But it's across the series. It's across all of them. Will we be able to get lifetime insurance on the Sabre Raven? I'm going to push for that. I do not like the idea of exclusive ships like Sabre Raven, but I also don't like the idea of them not coming with lifetime insurance when they're that sort of level of exclusive. So the Sabre Raven, you had to buy an Intel Optane drive, the 280 gig or the 480 gig one of the new 900p's ones. That might be true of the second generation of them as well. I mean, Intel seem to be pretty in bed with CIG now, which is actually quite good. They're quite a good sex partner, I suspect, when it comes to marketing and hardware and stuff. So, if the price of being a partner with Intel is occasionally you've got to shill, do an exclusive ship, I think that CIG should pay that price gladly. I mean, CitizenCon and Gamescom and stuff by them, if they're sponsored by Intel, they're going to run a lot smoother. There's going to be a lot of money that effectively us as backers don't pay towards those shows that Intel do, and that money will go into the game. You've got to remember as well that each of that $163 million that they've raised so far has to be spent on the game. That's not for the company making profits in the traditional sense. Any money they make before a release, they've said they will spend on the game, which is fucking great. After that, they'll probably explore other avenues to generate more income for themselves and operate more of a business. They're a business at the end of the day, CIG and Foundry 42. They're going to start to want to make money. They're going to start to want to do stuff like that. They're probably going to start to want to make other games after Star Citizen Squadron 42 Episode 3 is released and that Star Citizen's fully released. So, bear that in mind. They should give rewards out for no insurance claims. Well, effectively they do. Now, it's possible that they might actually do that. They might reward you for no insurance claims, but insurance will affect you differently. If you keep on claiming, your ships will take longer and longer to get back to you, and that's true of all of them. So if I keep on claiming a Hornet, then other ships on my account will be more expensive to expedite, and might take longer to come. So I keep on losing my Hornet. Like I've lost it 10 times in a week. It might take extra 3 days, 4 or 5 days to get. If I want to expedite that to get it quicker, it might cost me 5 times the amount. So I might have to spend like 80,000 UEC to get my Hornet back after I keep on losing it, or I have to wait a long time. That would be true of lifetime insurance and everything like that. So, and lifetime insurance will only cover the hull and, I assume, stock equipment. And then everything else that you've modded the ship with, you'll have to pay for separate insurance for it. And there might be varying levels of insurance for different areas and stuff like that as well. When does the insurance start taking effect? That will be when the game goes live. You might see a more full test of that with a beta, but 3.0 we get the insurance claim system, but the actual insurance of potentially losing a ship, you won't be able to lose a ship permanently until the live Star Citizen comes out in, at the earliest, probably 2020. So don't worry about that, and they'll talk about it a lot, and I'll talk about it a lot, and there'll be videos every fucking where. If I wait to buy it till the anniversary sale, can I upgrade one of the... yeah, you should be able to upgrade one of the ships. There should be a load of upgrade options. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the kind words. God. Bored egg or ginger egg. Oh my god, I could do it ginger egg now, couldn't I? Hairy ginger egg. No soul egg. If you log out of the game and you don't have a bed, will you be able to log back into the game? Yes, so in 3.0, yes. And actually, yes. So from 3.0 onwards, logging out, your logout will be persistent. You log back in, your ship will be there, and you'll still be there. Now, if you are sleeping in a bed, so in 3.0, when you log out, your ship will log out with you, assuming no one else is on your ship. If you have a bed after 3.0, so whenever they implement this, when you log out in a bed, your ship will despawn with you, assuming that everyone else is logged out in beds with you. When someone logs back in, that ship will respawn. Now, if you don't have enough beds for people, then that's a bad thing, because your ship will stay there, persistent. So people could come and rob you, attack you, or whatever, while you're vulnerable. So bear that in mind. That's the intention, anyway. 300i rework. 300s are getting a rework. Again, I think that's a relatively light rework compared to the Cutlass Black. I think that a lot of that stuff's pretty close to being actually finished now as well. Expect everything when they do reworks like the Mustang and the 300 series, that they are going to still look like those ships, although they'll be tweaked. They might look a bit more fancy, a bit cooler. You're still going to recognise them as the 300 or a Mustang. Oh my god, fucking... Thank you for all the fucking donations and money. Sorry I keep on swearing as well. That's very much appreciated. That's yeah, thank you. I'm going to get quite a sexy laptop as well. And we'll do a review of it on Starset as well. I think it will probably just have a 1070. I say just a 1070. It will have 1070 in it. The mobile graphics cards don't seem to have been as heavily affected by Bitcoin mining. I say the mobile graphics cards like that because the 10 series of GeForce cards don't seem to have a mobile version. They literally are putting the whole graphics card in the laptops now, which is amazing. I heard that the way object container streaming works is that it does not load physical objects both on the server and client until the player comes into view. So object containers work in two ways. Yeah, there's going to be rendering of what you can see and what's in a similar way of bind culling. They're going to cull objects and data that you don't need for rendering. That's kind of already in the game, but yeah, it's going to get a lot more optimized and done a lot better. Object container streaming is a little bit different. It sets every area that it wants, as small or large as it wants, into boxes. And Idris could be its own object container streaming, but also its object container, but also contain multiple other object containers, like cargo bay and that sort of stuff. And the idea is that those areas have a set amount of data that will be loaded onto your RAM and your hard drive and all that sort of stuff, and your GPU, and that's in your memory and stuff, and that's ready, and that area is loaded in, and all the assets that are already loaded in, and you can move in and out of that area, and nearby proximate areas will also be loaded in, so that you don't need to have a loading screen, you just move between them freely. And it kind of is that in combination with the various culling techniques and everything, and this hierarchy of boxes which says what assets do I need for when, and how those object containers interact as well. So you could have Javelin as an object container fighting multiple Idris, and those object containers only send certain data to each other as well, and there's a lot going on. I don't entirely understand how they're going to utilize object containers with server meshing, with what data they're sending, just effectively buying what data they're sending and stuff. Once they do know, I will be able to do a video on it. But at the moment, I cover a vague idea of how it's all going to work. Do you remember how much the Starliner cost? Was it 425? I need to probably... I want to buy one for my mate Zen. It's like he got a refund because he got his bike stolen, and he didn't have a way to get to work, so he had to get a refund on his account, which made him very depressed because he's a massive Star Citizen fan. But he's got a couple of his ships back now. But he wants a Starliner, so I need to buy him a Starliner at some point probably. He's been a very good friend to me. I heard the way the object control, and that's what we just talked about. I love the idea of the passenger transport profession. I love the idea of having your own business in game. Super strong PC for $1,300, 7700 with a 1080, 16 gigs RAM. Yeah, that's pretty solid. CIG and Intel together are a solid match. Do you think you should reward people if no insurance claim within a certain amount of time? Yeah, I do. Will the 890 Jump be on sale? Lord 7. Oh, good question. It's a very limited ship, isn't it? There's more players in the verse, so they could technically sell a small amount of them. They'd sell them for like $890, so they'd sell a very small amount anyway. Yeah, potentially. They're probably at the I'd say they would. They'd definitely be sold in like at least a pack, like a big war bundle pack, or luxury bundle pack or an origin bundle pack or whatever. But I suspect to see them separately as well because why not? There's going to be Squadron 42, which is solo mode. You can play solo if you want to in Star Citizen. I just recommend. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with an org or with other players, and the multi-crew is one of the revolutionary things about it, at the scale they're doing it. Will insurance be based on real-time or in-game time? Isn't it the same thing? If it's in-game time, it's still going to be directly relative to real-time. Oh! You mean 3 months insurance of in-game time, or 3 months insurance of real lifetime? Oh, they talked about this a while ago. The intention was, I believe the intention was, that 3 months insurance would be in-game time, but only counts down while you're playing. That's probably changed a bit now. I will find out again and really clarify that. Because I suspect that sort of stuff does change. Can you have beards in-game? Yes, you will be able to have beards and facial hair and stuff in-game. They were trying to get all of their facial stuff to work with beards, and they've been working on hair and beards. Do you think different player factions in Star Citizen will be able to simulate actual economics and economies? So, yeah, potentially. The thing with Star Citizen's economy, where it's different to player-led economies like EVE, is that it's not a player-led economy. It's player-influenced, and there's going to be lots of story events and stuff like that, but CIG can fake stuff, they can pull stuff, they can change stuff. There's going to be 9 NPCs to every one player that are kind of active in the verse as well. So they're going to be doing stuff. They're going to be taking missions. They're going to be driving the economy as well. And there's going to be lots of other fuzzy factors. So, yeah, they're going to be able to simulate a lot of that stuff if they want to. And those planned economies, anarchist economy, free markets, socialism, all that sort of communism, all of that sort of stuff, and the ways those economies work could really quite change. War economies and things. But I'm not sure. They're definitely going to be reined in and work how CIG want them to work. Nothing will get out of control because CIG don't have to let it. Is there going to be basic needs system implemented? I've asked this a few times, not got it. Are you talking about to do with survival, eating and drinking water? So they've talked about eating and drinking. That might be a thing. I hope it's not. I hope it's only going to be very light survival mechanics where you might need to have food and facilities for your NPCs and that sort of stuff. If you hire crews, maybe you'd have to have facilities at bases and things as well. But they've talked about eating and drinking, and they said they might make it a thing. So maybe. So they basically said that eating and drinking will be a thing, but they don't know how survivally it will be. Like, do you need to do it? Because you can do it. Hey, Door Stretch, thank you very much for Cameron's face in bits. Thank you. Thank you. Should there be a permissions list to allow your crew to spawn at your ships if you're not present or online? Potentially, yeah. So there is going to be permissions on ships when it comes to doors and what systems they can use and all that sort of stuff. You'll be able to set permissions in the future, not for 3.0, but in the future. I'm not sure how that's going to work with crew on a ship when it comes to logging back in. I don't see how you could prevent someone to logging back into your ship with a permission. Like, if they're asleep in a bed, you shouldn't be able to go, no, you can't spawn. Like, you lock the door. You could. That's a perfectly fine mechanic. Have that door locked, or something like that. But then it's interesting to balance that sort of stuff. You don't want players to be locked in a room and their only recourse is to kill themselves to get out, spawn somewhere else. So there's interesting things to balance. There's a lot of edge cases as well. I know mining is not in 3.0. Is the Prospector fully operational? The Prospector is fully flyable. I wouldn't say it's fully operational without mining. We'll grow your head hair until 3.0 releases to PTU. Yeah, so we're going to Bob Ross afro. I mean, I'll grow my beard until at least 3.0 comes out. Oh, unless I get the opportunity to have my head scanned. I mean, Derby Studio is only pretty close. Can we name our ships in the 3.0? No, not officially. I'm looking to upgrade my GPU. What would be the smartest one to buy? I'm not sure how expensive some GPUs have been made because of Bitcoin mining, unfortunately. Like, the best choice a while ago was a 1070. A GeForce 1070. They were fucking great. Great value. Really top-end cards. I've got a 1080 Ti. I would, if possible, wait until the next generation of cards come out and then grab one of them. Because they will be cheaper before the Bitcoin miners try and get them. But you want to be looking to see if you can get a 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti cheap. That sort of graphics cards are great. If you're going for a more budget one, 1060s are great. And the AMD ones I don't know too much about at the moment, and their performance and Star Citizen, so I don't actually have one at the moment. So apologies for anyone that's like, no, these AMD cards are much better. That's how you talk when you're not me. What do you think of the new Anvil concept ship and its function? I think it looks like a light fighter to me. So he is literally talking about this ship. I'm assuming because it looks like an Anvil ship, and we're assuming it's a Anvil light fighter, well, I am. No news on when 3.0 is going to go live, other than what's in the schedule report. I'm expecting wider PTU by Christmas. When insurance runs out, how much is renewal? We don't know, but they've said it's going to be a small amount of credits. So it's not going to be like, oh my god, I can't afford my insurance. Now, actually, you might say, oh god, I can't afford my insurance if that insurance is on an Idris or a capital ship. But any ship purchased that was over $1,000 automatically came with lifetime insurance, whatever. I'm not sure if you'll get lifetime insurance. I'm not sure if you're able to buy lifetime insurance in game for like capital ships and stuff, or if you have to insure the hull separately, which I think you'll have to insure the hull separately. Any news on the April 2018 Concierge meetup in the LA studio? Nothing really at the moment. The next Concierge newsletter, when I get it, will probably tell us that, and I will relay that to you. With larger capital ships, will they need to have large crews at all times? Not at all times, and they can have skeleton crews. And you can hire a skeleton crew. And what roles will they make for those ships to make it fun for everyone to play on board? Capital ships are supposed to have a well-organised crew working together, and there's going to be lots of mini-games, including running around and repairing stuff as systems blow, powers blows, that sort of stuff. It depends on what the function of the ship is. Mining ships, Like the Orion, there's going to be people that have to track down the resources. They're constantly scanning for enemies, but also for resources that they want. You're going to have to fire missiles into asteroids to work out the composition of the asteroid. You're going to have to train a beam on the asteroid to laser it off and tractor beam the stuff in to get to be nommed and ground down. You've got to make sure that you're not going to be drilling into any gases, otherwise stuff might explode. And there's going to be lots of, for each of the game mechanics, lots of interesting little mini games and things for people to do and work together with. We just don't know the full design documents for them yet. So everything I'd say would be speculation at this point. But the intention is for them to have interesting things to do on capital ships. And for things to do on the side as well, with like mobiGlas. You'll be able to potentially watch races that are happening live in the verse, battles, news reports, gamble stuff, basically phone apps on your mobiGlas. Check out the economy and things like that, stock markets. Is there any more a word on ships having weight in atmo flight? They are working on atmospheric flight. Where was it they said this? Double checks to make sure it's not in Eva Carty notes. Work for atmospheric flight has been outlined by the team and approved by directors. They're doing some more atmospheric flight. So I believe they are working towards stuff to have a bit more weight to it. And yeah, there's going to be VTOL and there's going to be the IFCS, which will be able to compensate for a lot of stuff, but it's still going to have a bit more weight to it and still feel that you're in atmosphere. And in some situations, like if you decouple or something, I suppose, you might fall out the sky or you'll fly very differently. But yes, it does. I agree with you. It does seem floaty. Let's make sure that it's not a floaty thing in atmosphere. Obviously, there will be different gravities in different atmospheres, so some will be floatier than others. Do you think we'll get Reclaimer before Salvage comes in? Yes, I do. The ship is pretty much done now. Do 9 NPCs. Oh my god, Tim the Sorcerer. Look at that. Terribly done. Pixel face of me as Tim the Sorcerer. That's because Disco Lander was calling me Tim. Thank you very much for the bits. I fucking love your face. My throat's pretty sore. I'll go for a little bit longer. Thank you very much for all the cheer and the bits. That's a fucking lot of bits. Thank you. Does the 9 NPCs to 1 PC plan apply anymore? Sort of. So think of the 9 NPCs to 1 PC as active NPCs and ships flying around that are doing stuff. I don't know when we're going to be able to paint our ships. I don't know. The tech was already there a while ago, but it wasn't user-friendly, so it wasn't in a state that we could use it. It's like they could change colours and paint stuff with console commands and things. So that when they make a cool user-friendly version of that, that's persistent and doesn't fuck us up, and isn't super resource-intensive, that's when we'll get it. So I don't know. What number of human players in an instance do you think for 3.0 are going to be needed to make it feel busy? At least 48. I would like 128. Yeah? That seems reasonable, doesn't it? To make it feel busy. That's what you want. If you're using the word busy, then that's what I think. Do you think that the Banu Merchantman is an exclusive as the lore makes it out to be? Yeah, it'll be pretty exclusive. I mean, there's not that many of them in the verse already, a few thousand. And in-game they're going to be expensive, already hard to get. Yeah. Pretty exclusive. Do you think there's a lot of Banu in the verse as well, you've got to remember that, and there's a good amount of Banu Merchantmen. Yeah. Some talked about the size of the universe affecting which player due to travel distances, taking potentially a few hours to travel. What do you think? They definitely want meaningful travel times. The distance between Hurston to ArcCorp in the demo that we're watching on the screen was around 8 minutes. So, and that's in the same system. So yeah, they potentially have a few hours travel. I think that's a good thing. As long as there's stuff to do, as long as there's gameplay loops for that, so that you're not bored when you're constantly travelling. Even in 3.0, there's going to be the potential for pirates to ambush you in quantum travel, and somehow quantumly interdict you. Falling, will we get wingsuits, parachutes, jump jets, or none? We'll get something to be able to survive ejection in atmosphere. We just don't know what yet. Not for 3.0 though. Will base jumping be a thing on gas mining platforms around gas giants? So yeah, if they do parachutes and stuff, then, or jetpacks that allow you, then yeah, I suspect that we will do some silly stuff with that. Players will just do it. If I make a package for store credit, I can use the store credit plus real money to CCU my X1 to a lifetime insurance Polaris. Yeah, if your X1 has lifetime insurance, yeah, and they release the Polaris on sale again, you should be able to do that. Do you own a fleet? What is it about? Do you... Well, I've got a good amount of ships. Do you mean org? My org is specifically... well, we'll talk about my org close to 3.0 actually. Trying to keep on talking about my org. What do we need more of right now? Snubs, small, medium, large capital vehicles. More vehicles in the short term, in my opinion. And then I'd like to see... one small, medium, and large of each type of ship. So repair, salvage, all that sort of stuff. Where possible, mining. Small, medium, large for each of those. And capital. I want to see salvage vehicles. I want to see lots of different things like that. Do you know if they're planning any sort of non-violent crimes? Yeah. There's going to be stuff where it's just like you get a big fine. There's going to be stuff that that might just affect your reputation massively. That might not maybe prevent you from taking certain missions. Yeah, not every crime is going to be death sentence or fire on sight. Would there be debts and minus balance CVC? And also companies that hunt you down when you have a lot of debt and confiscate your ship until you pay for it. There might be ways to get ships on collateral or rent a ship for a mission. I'm not sure how debt would work. You could get in debt with players, certainly. I suppose you might have to put compensation down for certain things. You might have to pay insurance. I mean, you might have to, if you damage someone's ship, there might be like a GTA system. So if you're in UEE space or around landing pads and stuff, if you damage someone else's ship, that amount that you damage their ship is instantly doctored from your account, which would be a good way of dealing with griefing and stuff like that. So, oh, I'm in Port Olisar. I've accidentally rammed someone's ship. That person that rammed you gets charged a load of money. No. So I might learn a bit of basic Xi'an, but I'm not going to go crazy with the language. But if I get enough time, I'm bored. There's so much I need to do in my life. Like I want to learn to edit better, and I learn to all about the law. I want to. Oh my god, Xi'an's part of the law. Oh god. I want to do a load of different stuff with editing and things like that. But I'll probably learn a bit of Xi'an, just not huge amounts. There's some people that are really getting into it. And I don't know German yet. I want to learn German. Do you think when I buy a Carrack, I might get a... I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this. Thank you very much, Cobra. Much appreciated. You'll get a... I think the Carrack is going to have the Aquila as its flight-ready thing, as its loaner ship. In the freelance commercial, it showed the thrusters rotating almost like the cutlass. Do you think that's still a thing? Well, you can go to the ship matrix and see if it's got gimbaled thrusters or fixed thrusters. So let's go do that quickly for you. Let's bring it up on the screen. So gimbaled thrusters literally turn to the direction they're needed and give thrust from there. The issue is that there's a slight lag and delay in those thrusters getting to position. Fixed thrusters, you need more of them, but they give instant momentum. So what did you say? Is it the freelancer? Freelancer. And we could say with the freelancer, this type of gimbals. Is it for ocean? Avionics? Thrusters, that's what I want. It's got gimbaled moving thrusters. It's got gimbal, so yeah, its thrusters will move. No, they certainly haven't finished finalised scanning. Scanning's a big system, and it's going to have lots of different levels for lots of different things. Not just combat scanning, but longer range scanning, scanning down for minerals, mapping, stuff for they're going to have scanners and radars on the star map. There's a load going into scanning and pinging and all that sort of jazz. How is the rework Cutlass Black stacking up compared to the other ships? It's flight ready. They've shown it off a lot. Yeah, they've added muffled sounds of steps and vacuums. in Star Marine. Yeah, that's been there for a while. It's definitely balanced for gameplay and fun, rather than realism. So just bear that in mind. So, are very likely to be water planets. The water they've got, and we see even in this video, the water is fully wave simulated as well. So you potentially could have big waves like in the Interstellar water planet there. If one has the Constellation Aquila, can the Urza be spawned separately? Yes, I believe so. How... You have to spawn it from a spawn terminal or carry it in the colony, though. How good will NPC crew members be compared to players? The idea is that players will always be the best option. You can have... NPCs will effectively have stats, whereas human players are literally as good as you are at playing. And some NPCs will be a lot better than others. Some will be more experienced in things. And if you hire like a skeleton crew or full crew, yeah, you might have a couple of NPCs there are ready to get certain roles, but you can also go down to like bars and search the universe for these hireable NPCs, which will be a lot better than a standard one you'd hire as well, like Pokemon. Potentially, you could get thrown in prison. You might have to do a play Little Escape, play a mini game, pay your way out or something. Well, we don't 100% know yet, though. It's like there might be slave planets and stuff. You buy your way out or do something. While in space, will you ever have the need to EVA out of your ship and do repairs on hull? Yes. Yeah, probably. I mean, some ships will have exterior components, so you have to fly out and use your hand welder tool or swap out the components in space. Yeah. And so, a lot of ships will have the components accessible from the interior, but not all ships. Certainly not. For long quantum travel, should you have in-flight movies? Yeah, you'll have stuff on the Mobiglass. You'll have loads of different apps and stuff. You probably have mini games that you can play, like phone app games. You'll probably have to watch Star Marine news. Lots of different things. Anything you can do on a phone is the idea, I think, with the Mobiglass. Yeah, we potentially have underground cities. Levski's kind of an underground city. Next Redacted will be on Wednesday at 7 PM UTC. What happens to any unused credit from pledging when the game goes live? It will probably stay in your store credits. You'll still be able to buy game packages, potentially subscriptions. Well, the subscriptions will be subscriptions we have in the game already, the voluntary ones, and a UEC. So they'll probably just stay in there. They'll probably incentivize you to try and spend it, though, before the game goes live. Will the Blast be on sale during the anniversary sale? I suspect so. As a bounty hunter, if I catch someone in their ship, does that ship become mine? Or is that a compensation? I don't know. I don't think so. If you're bounty hunting them and they're an outlaw, I suppose it doesn't matter. You could take their ship. I suppose. I'm not sure how that form of ship ownership works when you've taken it off an outlaw. Obviously, if you've stolen it off an outlaw and they'd stolen it off someone else as well, then you flying around with that might make you a criminal. So it might be better to strip it and salvage it. Is there an entering quantum visual audio indication for passengers in multi-crew ships? I actually think there is. I think there might be actual internal ones in the ships as well. But you'll be able to hear it just because of the way the quantum travel is working now. They've updated quantum travel stuff. I suspect that on some ships it will go entering quantum drive. Can we expect any more game changer ships? There's some cool ones. I don't think there's none that I know about that are new game mechanic ships or vehicles. There's some cool vehicles coming out as well. How will arrest and detainment work? We don't know. Obviously, yeah, we don't want to be able to be held forever or indefinitely, and we don't want to be able to be sitting in a cell. So there obviously have to be ways around that. If you get captured or whatever, then it just cancels one of your lives, and you go up, you spawn here or whatever. I don't know. They will flesh those mechanics out at some point and give us the design document, though. The Starfire is on sale, isn't it? It's always on sale. Oculus and VR support is kept in mind by CIG, but it isn't something that's going to be in game soon. Do you think the Reclaimer will be in 3.1? Yes, I think it will be in 3.1. It's pretty much finished, if not flyable already. Can we get refunding / credits for stuff purchased on the store, like power lance and shields? If you're talking about UEC purchases that have already been made on the website, they are talking about that, but they haven't confirmed anything. I suspect we will get a chance in the future to melt our items and rebuy stuff. I can't promise that because I don't know. Can you stop mid-quantum if you realise you forgot something or you're going to the wrong destination? I believe so, yes. You can cancel the spawn. It will take time and then come out quantum drive. Along that prison thing, if players have the ability to capture players, potentially that would allow griefing and stuff, so they have to balance it for that. I don't like the idea of sitting in a cell for a week. Or being able to be locked behind doors and entirely blocked out of areas. So there have to be ways around that. I'm just not sure what. Would you accept a journalist / community manager job from CIG covers? I doubt it. Eccentric Max. I mean, I'd always listen to stuff like that. I think I'm relatively reasonable as a person because I always will listen to things like that, or I'll go, let's see what my options are. Let's see what's there. And I doubt it. Very much doubt it, even if it was for a lot of money. Because I don't think I'd be suited for it. I'm erratic as a person. I suffer from depression, anxiety. I like doing what I'm doing at my own pace. And having a proper job just doesn't, something that someone else can fire me from, that I have lack of control of. That's just not what I like the idea of. that thrifty face when I'm trying not to break NDA but want to say something. It's true. What can I say? For me, I like covering the game. I like covering the news. So the stuff that I can't say pisses me off, to be honest. So, how long do I have to use LTI ships as tokens? I don't know. Probably until beta. So, I think a couple of years. You don't need a Pioneer to build a base on a planet or moon. You can get someone else's Pioneer to come and build it for you, so you don't need your own Pioneer. You can bring other things to planets. You won't be able to build outposts on planets, but you can bring defense turrets and some of the external objects to planets without a Pioneer. Do you think they'll make a Aegis heavy hauler? Potentially. When's the next big sale? 24th of November, going to the 4th of December, between those dates. Do you think the Endeavour will end up for sale during the anniversary sale? I hope so. The Endeavour is one of my favourite ships. The Reclaimer's my favourite. Endeavour's probably in the top 5, possibly top 3. Definitely mechanically it is. I love the science mechanics. Can you start another life whenever you want? And will your ships on your RSI account transfer over to them? Yes, yeah. Your ships will move with your next of kin, so your next of character. Do you post a schedule of your live Twitch streams somewhere? No, because I'm a bit erratic with them. I will start to get better with it. I'm working out when and how I want to do the live streams. That will be a lot more locked down for when 3.0 goes live, because I will do a lot of sort of gameplay stuff. When I hire NPCs to work my ships, will I pay them per mission or on a time-based system? I believe it is you hire them for a certain period of time. I think that might change. Either party will be under NDA even after PTU and stuff drops. The NDAs don't disappear. It's that either party can start talking about stuff a bit more. Just be aware of that. The NDAs don't rescinded, they aren't removed. Thank you very much, Sagaman. Much appreciated. With the move to date-based releases, do you think this will speed up or slow down ship and capability? Mechanic-wise, it shouldn't affect anything. That 3.0, procedural planets, procedural cities, and the conversion over to item system 2.0, and the actual foundations of everything, object container streaming and everything, that is what caused most of the delay. That's at least a year of delay. Obviously, subsumption AI, that subsumption system is the thing that will delay them the most overall, because there is so much to fucking work out with that. So probably more so than networking things. So, mark my words. But I think they're very good for what they've done. Like, the massive scope of the game and being a junior studio, I think they've done pretty well. Delays, they're shit with dates. Should have done shit like that. They've certainly done stuff wrong, and they do stuff wrong with miscommunication with the community, but they're getting a lot better at it. And I think we're going to get a fucking amazing game from it. Even if it's 10% of what they've promised, it'll be amazing. But I think we're going to get pretty close to what they've said they're going to do, if not almost spot on. Now, like, I'm hopeful. Do you think the rework Freelancer Max will have 4 main thrusters like the original? I don't know, but I'm assuming that it'll probably go towards the original engines rather than like the base engines for the Freelancers rather than the 4 engines. Because I was thinking Freelancer Max are fucking amazing if it's that kind of hull, because it's significantly better than the others. Do you think we'll hit tipping point that we actually get reduced bugs? Yeah. I think in general between now and 3.0's release that the bugs will get done much more rapidly now. And yeah, we won't get much in form of scope creep either. A lot of the stuff that's been redone they realised that they were not supporting systems for certain things, so they had to add these extra features, not features, but little modules and bits and bobs rather than whole new features to get stuff done. And they want to get it in now because it's part of the foundation that they can build upon. So they want those basic systems in at quite a good quality level. When I say basic systems, I mean Moby-Glass, Star Map, the basics of missions, the way that planets work and that they revolve around the sun and rotate and all that sort of jazz. So they need to make sure they all work properly, and there are little bits and bobs, lots of little parts that they needed to get in. So you won't see feature creep, but and now a lot of them have been identified and done, so you shouldn't see much of an increase from week to week of bugs and tasks. It should see that come down drastically probably now, because they'll be at crunch time. Between now and Christmas, they're going to try and get as much as they can out, so they want to try and get 3.0 to live before Christmas, definitely. But I think that'd be hard push to do that, but I'm almost sure we'll see a PTU, though. Do you think we'll be able to use the Pioneer to build an outpost on the side of the mountain? You'll be able to place it anywhere that the Pioneer, or almost anywhere that the Pioneer can land successfully. So on the side of a mountain, if the Pioneer can land there and use its arms, then probably. Doesn't have to be perfectly flat. I think Squadron 42 Episode 1, which is what we basically talk about when we say Squadron 42, because Episode 2 and Episode 3 are their own AAA games, should be released in 2018, almost certainly. I did think it was going to be released last year, so not the best person to ask, but... Star Citizen, maybe 2020, if we're lucky. An actual commercial release. I don't think you'll ever be able to become a no-hope tramp. There'll always be a way to get back in the game. Whether that's doing some missions where you're just a crewman, or just you get like a courtesy Aurora or something. I doubt that there's not going to be any way that you'll be no-hoping. There'll definitely be game loops. So go, oh, I'm fucked, I've lost everything. My base has been, I'm an outlaw, my base has been smashed to bits by another org. I've got nothing. I need to start again, effectively. Do you think there'll be more alien ships or ships in general that are the same size as the Cutlass? Yeah? Yeah, why not? They need to fill out all the other alien races, the Kurthak, the Xi'an, the Bani, all of them, don't they? Fun. If water planets become a thing, yeah, I think they will be. What kind of water vehicles do you think we'll see? I don't know. Probably boats and subs of some kind. And they've sort of briefly talked that they want boats, but I don't know for sure. Do you think that 3.0 is ready for PTU? Oh, no, there's definitely more polished and tasks they need to do. Yeah, there's definitely more stuff they need to do to get 3.0 working as intended, with missions and cargo and all that sort of jazz in properly. Do you think we're about to have an underground landing pads? Yeah, I do, in the future. If I can mount my ship and get credits to buy other ships at the anniversary sale, can I definitely buy back my previous purchase in the future? You should be able to. I'm not sure what ship you're talking about in particular. Some limited release ships will not, or promo ships will not be available on buyback. Do you think they'll give us the ability to make gear? Potentially, we'll be able to craft some things, like ammo. Yeah. I think ammo and fuel might be something that we can do ourselves. I'm hoping that we get some at least light manufacture and crafting. And we're definitely about to overclock things, so yeah, I think ammo's a good one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited do you think Chris Roberts is about revealing 3.8 to the world? Probably a 9, or maybe an 8. Like, there's other stuff that he wants to show it's Squadron 42 is his baby. That's him as a director, him as a game developer, and him as now a studio owner, game creator. That's his baby. Star Citizen is also that, but it's not all of his experience coming together for Star Citizen. I suppose it is now. He's kind of made it into this beast, but I think Squadron 42 is what he's more excited about, in my opinion. Answered that already. Do you think the Freelancer Miss is a worthwhile upgrade, considering it officially lost its aft turret? I mean, we don't know how effective the rearming, because the Miss is basically a Freelancer which can rearm its missiles during combat, which is pretty powerful. Possibly, depending how good missiles are. We need to work out how good missiles are when the game goes live to work out whether that is a good use of them. Do you think they will have multiple PTU waves? Yes, I believe that Concierge will be in as early as possible in the PTU. I think there'll probably be first wave. I think Tyler kind of semi-confirmed that. But I suspect it will be waves, but probably not too many waves. I think like 4 waves, 3 waves. Like first wave, and then second wave with a lot more people, and then third wave everyone sort of thing. I suspect they'll cut it down. Yeah, there will be real-time quantum travel. So it will take 5 to 8 minutes. It took 8 minutes in the demo here to get from Arc Corp to Thurston. What do you think of the game voice chat they're working on? I don't really know, to be honest. I love the idea that it's diegetic, sort of partly diegetic in game. So there'll be you have to hear people at distances, people through doorways, stuff through speakers when you've got your helmet on in space. That it's going to be integrated with Spectrum. That's going to be integrated with the face over IP stuff. It's going to be immersive. That's great. It needs to be at least as good as Discord. Really easy to use. It's so hard when there's something so simple available to use already, like Discord, to be able to say, is this great? I don't know. We need to see it. We're waiting until it's in our hands. Because I'm not convinced by voice over IP in game. You need it in games, full stop. But the amount of time and effort and stuff, it needs to be really fucking good. Otherwise, for orgs to use it for their intercoms, for their interpersonal comms and all that sort of stuff, it needs to be really fucking good. Because most people will just go to Discord if there's any disadvantage to it, and that's what I'm not convinced about. So, if the Pioneer is clearly a large jump point only, does that mean that there's no way to get an outpost to a medium jump location? Well, there'll be ways around it, won't there? There'll be literal ways to come in from a large jump point. It might be a medium ship technically as well. Large jump points might be for the massive capital ships. It's only 200 meters long, so that's potentially a medium jump point now. Also, jump points might not be defined like that. Jump points might literally be defined by meters of ship they can take in the future. So they might not have any definition other than 200 meter, 203 meter, 500 meter, whatever. So bear that in mind. There'll probably be ways around that, and you might be able to build a Pioneer in that system, that sort of stuff, which would be interesting if you can't leave then with it ever. Do you think the Merchantman will be in 3.2? 2018 will be the year of some of those massive ships, including probably the Merchantman. So Carrack, Merchantman, all that sort of jazz. 890 Jump should all be coming early to mid 2018. So, as you get into the PTU, you eventually will just get into it, whatever. But you're more likely to get into an earlier stage if you're active on Issue Council, which is for bug reporting. If you're Concierge, subscribers might get second wave access. Don't know that for sure. They got second wave access, I think, last time. If you had one choice, what freelance would you pick? Probably the freelance, the Der or the Max. If the Max has 4 engines, like it originally was supposed to, then the Max. Fucking love you, Stormfire, as well. Do you think players can look you up on the mobile glass to see if you're trustworthy and capable to hire? I expect so. I expect there's going to be TripAdvisor and reputation systems that you can inspect players, because you might want to get some players as crew and stuff, or to help you with a mission, or to hire them to do stuff. So yeah, I suspect there's going to be lots of TripAdvisor, rep systems, trustworthy systems, all that sort of stuff that will be viewable on characters. And some of that might be able to be spoofed as well. Will they have third-person view for flight/foot? Like to hear your thoughts regarding stealth boarding ships like the Prowler. I think that if you're allowing third-person view, that you shouldn't just be able to go third-person. There needs to be like a drone or something flying behind you, and that relays that to your helmet or whatever. I'm okay with that, because I can see someone's drone over there, or their drone makes them more detectable, or makes a buzzy sound and more detectable when they're looking behind a wall. But you just see like a hovering fucking drone there. That's fine. That needs to be balanced. I don't want people just going third person to look round a corner, first person shoot. That fucking piss me off. Especially with takedowns and things like that. Oh my fucking god. Also, I only think you should be able to take down players if they haven't got weapons in their hands. If they're walking around without a weapon, you come up behind them, and they haven't noticed you, and they're not moving away or anything, you might be able to kill them or knock them out or whatever. So the player is there with a gun in his hand, and I don't want someone running at me and doing a takedown because they've got to my rear arc before I've been able to turn around as they run at me. How do you think CIG will handle the problem that some ships are owned way too often than their law suggests? I think there's going to be a lot more players than you think. I think we're like 1/10 of the player base at the moment. Only the one planet. And well, it's because there's going to be. We are literally 1/10 of the player base, but I mean, there's actually going to be 10 times more players by the time the game goes live. But it's fine for the players to have the more rare ships, because the NPCs won't. If any one of if you're the only one in a planet and someone lands on the planet after you. I don't understand that question, sorry. When is your first cooking stream? I will do a cooking stream at some point. I need to get a camera from my kitchen and mount it, and then I can probably do it. And we'll just do like a Star Citizen chat while I cook, and we'll make some sort of Star Citizen food for the first one. Thank you very much, Storm. I love your face, mate. You're a good chap. So, yeah, I mean, for 3.0, networking performance, FPS performance, general optimization, and general prettiness is all improved. You'll notice the most significance kind of probably on lower end systems. We'll go, oh shit, now this runs Star Citizen. So yeah, expect big gains for 3.0. Oh, Stefan, if you genuinely want to donate a Drake Herald and raffle it off, drop me an email. I would happily accept that for a viewer. I just need to double check to make sure I'm cool with that. And I love the support, and I love the donations, and I love the ships and everything. I always want to make sure that that's okay with people, because I feel a little bit guilty for taking stuff like that. Although I have been warming up to the idea, because part of the community is giving back to me, giving back to the community. Community give me stuff to give to you. I don't fucking know. I appreciate the help. Let's say that. I appreciate that. Thank you. If everyone could have one ship, what would it be? If you could only have one ship. Reclaimer. Probably. Favourite ship. Reclaimer, Banner Merchantman, Carrack, Endeavour, 890 jump. Probably my top 5. And then Orion. Orion's been pushed to 6th. Fuck. Sorry, Orion. I love you. Have CIG said anything about when they're going to be able to hire NPCs? No. We know it's coming at some points. We just don't know when. I expect Subsumption to get a lot more work first. We might see that sort of thing next CitizenCon, maybe, sort of thing. That's when we'd see something like that, maybe. Will there be long-range combat? I think there's going to be long-range combat. With torpedoes and missiles. Yeah, so there's the potential to have small and medium ships doing some form of outpost building, hauling, help with work like that, potentially. Follow-up question on the rep system. Do you think it's a good idea for players to be able to assign negative rep to other players? Yeah, but it wouldn't. It would be through their own org, or through like a Mobiglass app. You wouldn't be able to say, wouldn't be able to affect their rep with other factions, most likely. Is purchasing UEC off official CIG worth it? Not at the moment, no. We will review that once we know more about it in the future, but definitely don't do it at the moment. I'd always warn people off doing that. I don't think it's worth it at the moment. We don't know how the UEC is going to work. We don't know how much you can get it for money in the future. We don't know exactly what they want to do with it. We don't know how easy is it going to be to get in the game. So just... if we commandeer a pirate or vandal ship, will it be considered a stolen ship? I believe it will only be considered a stolen ship if they stole it off someone else. Or it's somehow an illegal ship, which if you're caught flying, it'll go, this is an illegal ship. Stuff that you commandeer, whatever, you might be able to bring in for reward, you might be able to convert, or you might have to strip it down and then nom it up, reclaim or whatever. Have they announced anything related to entering the atmosphere of gas giant planets? So the first one I'm going to get there is the Cloud City is going to actually literally be Crusader in Stanton. And I can't remember the name of the... Can't remember the name of the landing zone there. But the landing zone there is going to be the first taste of that. We know they're working on the gas cloud tech and working on the landing zone for that. I just don't know much more than I'm allowed to share. May have seen some stuff on the studio tour. Oh my god, a green screen in the back. No. Can we expect that every ship is buyable at the anniversary? Most of them will be. I'm not sure if we're going to... there should be bundles and stuff like that as well, to maybe save some money. So you can gift ships, some ships that were bought with real money you can gift to other people now. In-game, there will be transfers of ships, which will probably cost a small amount of money to transfer to other players. Do they have a lot more design elements in the works than it looks? So only the ones they've really talked about, I believe. So science, salvage, mining, repair, medical, all that sort of jazz. Will the stamina system be the same for everyone, or will we be able to improve our stamina? I believe it's going to be the same for everyone. I think they reserve the right to change that in the future. Maybe the food and drinks mechanics will affect that. Maybe there might be bionics and stuff like that, but I assume it's the same for everyone. Do you think they'll be able to force open airlocks and vent space? Yeah, so there is going to be explosive decompression. There is going to be the ability to hack things like that. There is going to be the ability to blow doors off. And yeah, that will cause explosive decompression. That will cause... you could destroy oxygen generators. You could destroy the life support on a ship. That would cause the oxygen to run out there. Or to people to be sucked into space or whatever. With large art corp cities, do you think we'll be able to buy a building and then sell rooms like an apartment? I think we'll be able to buy apartment, actually little apartments ourselves. I'm not sure if we'll be able to buy and then resell. Don't know. Maybe. I don't know how involved the medical mechanics are going to be. I do know that you'll be able to like stabilize people, stop them bleeding out, do certain amounts of medical gameplay on them based on what equipment you've got. Some more intense procedures will require them to be like in a cutlass red or whatever. Constellation Andromeda is my favourite ship. When is it relabeled as a... When was it relabeled as a freight/gunship? Did they change any of the ship itself, or is it still a great multi-role? Constellation Andromeda, great multi-role. I think the Taurus is the more stripped down version of that, but the Constellation Andromeda is more shooty than the Taurus, which is why they've relabeled it a freight gunship thing. Do you know what the restrictions would be on where you can land bigger ships? No. When it comes to city planets and stuff, landing zones and the hero landing zones, it'll be whatever size landing zone whatever landing pad they've got there will allow certain ships to land there, so you're restricted by that. On planets, it'll be if the planet has enough flat room for you to land, or flattish room. Star Marine's going to see like the stamina system. It's going to see all the obviously the graphics and all that improvements. Loads of new gear, loads of new animations, models. Some level changes and tweaks and stuff. There's a good amount coming to Star Marine. Star Marine will feel or play like a whole new game, mainly because of the stamina system, to be honest, and the fact that armor works. I'll do a bit of everything, but I'm going to mainly do industry and economy stuff where possible, and that's what a lot of my channel guides will be on. I'm not going to be able to teach people to be super top-end skilled pilots. I can get them into the basics, and I can get them to like intermediate level, and then I'll do the economy and trade and explain all the game mechanics and how to get into them, and then any exploits or any tips and tricks and that sort of stuff. But I won't have the skill to teach people how to be the top pilots. Chance of playing as a different race as Banu. After game's release, while after the game's released, expect to be able to play as like Banu, Tavaran, and Xian, maybe. And they said that that's the intention. Do you think there will be player-created contracts to deliver supplies on player and outposts? Yes, they will have a player jobs board, a player contract system, and service beacons where you can request services from other players. That will be in-game. Do you think there will... Oh, no, blah, blah, blah. Why don't CIG increase the number of systems in the PTU? Are you talking about star systems? Because they haven't finished off a load of stuff. They want to get Stanton finished first, and they have the building blocks and the vertical slice of the universe, or vertical slice of the system, that they can use to build all the other systems with. They're going to finish Stanton first. Does anyone have any other questions? Because otherwise, I am going to go and get a drink and some food and chill out. And possibly play some VR a bit later with DC. We did some escape room games, which were interesting. But, yeah, thanks for the love, guys. I really fucking appreciate it. When do you think we might get more racetracks? In 3.0, we should have some racetracks on planets, and then after that, we should see more and more racetracks that are in the PU, as well as we'll probably get some added to Arena Commander as well. I'm not sure if we're getting any in 3.0 in Arena Commander. Right, bear with me 1 second. Someone's knocked at my door. I'm going to go in a second anyway. That was weird. I heard knocking. Knocking at my chamber door. But when I was there was just a raven. No, there was no one there. Which was weird. Maybe I'm haunted. Right. Thank you very much for that. I fucking love you guys. Thank you for all the donations. That is a significant portion of the way there to a new laptop already. Sir Edney, you're a fucking legend. Stormfire, I love your face. Just for being here. Oh my god. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's see who else is streaming, though. We'll really get a couple more questions and it's going to kind of answer them at the end. We don't know when 3.0 is going to public. I'm hoping by Christmas that we'll get at least a wider PTU. Do you think we'll be able to build a colony based on farm? Yeah, we'll be able to do farming, moisture farming, probably crop farming. They haven't talked much about those kind of mechanics. We'll be able to when the game. So Operation Pitchfork is going to be the first time we try and fight the Vandal, and that will be in beta. So that'll be before the game goes live in beta, and we're going to try and affect the universe with Operation Pitchfork. And when the game goes live, potentially, you could instantly start trying to take back the systems from the Vandal. We don't know how those mechanics are going to work, though. Can I borrow your ships, please? Maybe. Bug counts. Lots. Let me link you... Actually. Here you go, bud. That is, look at all of the bugs. Currently, there is many tasks and bugs, but they'll get fixed they'll get done pretty quickly over the next few weeks. Roughly when we'll be able to buy ships for the PU in-game for 3.1, so expect that at the end of, I suppose, end of April is a good expectation for that, for 3.1. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. Love your faces. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. You can support the channel by going and Patreoning, by donating, by commentings, by the loves. Everything is really fucking appreciated, but the feedback, the general just watching, the sharing, all that sort of jazz, really fucking helps so much and is really appreciated. Thank you for being a great community, and we are going to go host someone. Hopefully someone that's playing Star Citizens. Saurus is online. Is he actually online? No, he's not. Saurus is not online anymore. Let's refresh this. Crash Academy's in German. Okay, Drones. Okay, Dr. Drones. Again, Dr. Drones is a good chap. What you see in Evocati makes you think that... What you see in Evocati makes you think that it's worthwhile we wait all this time for Alpha 3.0. I would prefer the releases to be done much rougher. So I would prefer us to be just given models like the Idris and levels to spawn in and just console. And just to fucking go crazy, to be honest. So I'm not the quite person to ask. I don't understand why they try and polish stuff so much, especially for an alpha game. But it's not just polished, it's a lot of associated systems and making stuff work. But I don't understand why they try and get all this in for these alpha releases. But sort of... they're getting practice at releasing products, I suppose. They're a junior studio, so there's lots of reasons to do it that way. It certainly works. Yes, I will be going to BritishCon. So come to BritishCon. Let's do that quick. BritishCon.uk. Go there. BritishCon's cool. I'll be there. It's on the 21st of April 2018. It's in Manchester. Alright, let's go. Here's this dude. Thank you very much for the love, guys. Love your fucking faces. Like, drop board egg emotes in there and tell him that he's a beautiful boardman. Boardman. Thank you very much, guys. Fucking love you. Talk to you soon. I'm going to eat. Love you. Bye.